let's see. Going live. All right, I'm live in all the places. Hello, my friends. It's time for the Witchy Weather Report. How are we feeling? Nope. Definitely having one of those days where I'm like, what's even happening right now? Witchy Weather Report. That's the banner I want to put up. Hello, friends. Hey, Ondine. Hey, Arcane Spark. So good to see you. Oi. Yeah, you too, huh? That is also my feeling. Let me see if I can brighten up this ring light a little bit. So you got a little, come see the brighter side of Rory. I don't know. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. Whatever, that's what's happening today. Welcome to the Witchy Weather Report. It is Saturday, and I am Rory with Sassafras Tarot. And I am here to let you know what's going on. What's up, universe? That is the question I am here to answer for you. I'll be reading today with the Everyday Witch Tarot by Deborah Blake. And Elizabeth Alba is the one who drew the art. I like to credit both the creator and the artist when they are different humans. This is my favorite go-to deck when I am feeling iffy. If I, on days when instead of the tarot shoving truth down my throat, when I need the tarot to take my hand lovingly and say, hey, Rory, here's what's going on. That is when I turn to the Everyday Witch Tarot. So that is definitely my mood today. How are we feeling? How was last week? How have things been going for you? If you're in the manifesting challenge with me, how is manifesting going? Inquiring minds want to know. Let me know. I see a couple of comments. Here's Grayson. Here's Ruby. I feel like a jerk for doing this early, but here are cats. Never feel like a jerk. Please feel free to drop a cat whenever you are ready. Oh, good. Ondine says, at least I can hear the audio from the start. See, things are looking up. All right. I will be reading to you from the Everyday Witch Tarot today. And let's see, what other news do I have to give you? We're going to have a new moon this week. On Thursday, the moon is currently waning, meaning it is a good time not to start new things, not to push yourself to be productive, not to do all of the things that we're constantly being asked to do, like more and more and more. It's a good time to reduce your schedule if possible and give yourself time to de-stress, give yourself time to reflect. And I know I find, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, that when I'm overwhelmed, I can't just switch gears. I can't just switch into like, I'm so overwhelmed to now I'm relaxed. I need some gear switching activities and I need some time before my brain comes back, before I can like accept that there are nice things in the world and enjoy myself and feel refreshed and replenished. And certainly before I can have good strategizing brain, right? Like my brain is not available for strategizing when I am too overwhelmed. I may think it is, but that is not when I do my best thinking. I know from experience. I did see your meow. Don't worry, I got you. So, by the way, if you're wondering what is up with all the cats, if you're new to the Witchy Weather Report, well, let me tell you. Our secret code here at the Witchy Weather Report, when you would like me to pull a card for you, is to drop a cat in the chat or write the word meow, a cat, like cat emoji, or, whatever, or write the word meow. And if you do that, I know that you are in the queue to have a card pulled. These are freely offered readings. I will pull one card per person as long as I can go. I usually go until noon. So as many people as I can get to in that time. That is how I run the Witchy Weather Report. I've decided since this is like a regular running series, I'll try to give that little spiel at the beginning so everyone knows what's what. Before I do that, however, I will be pulling a card for everyone. And so I told you about the waning moon. The moon is waning right now. We will have a new moon on Thursday. Oh, look at you, Ondine. Thank you so much for, being in the chat, being a helper. Yes, indicating different ways that people can share a cat emoji in the chat. So we have a new moon coming on Thursday. During this waning time, I'm going to recommend relaxing before strategizing, as I mentioned. The new moon is a great time to name a new intention. If you're doing my manifesting challenge with me, you know that we have been doing a new moon to new moon manifesting challenge, and the grand finale will be Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, right here, wherever you're watching, that's where it'll be. And we're going to be talking about what we have managed to create. We are not going to be grading ourselves pass fail. We are going to be acknowledging any progress that we've made, because life is not a classroom. You could say that life is a classroom and that, oh, we're always learning, but life is not a classroom and that you can fail the test. We continue to go on living, and if we have made progress, then we're winning. Then we're doing a good job. We are accruing points in the game of life. So we are going to be looking at what progress we have made. We are going to be asking ourselves if there are new goals we want to commit to for the coming new moon, or if we perhaps need a break, which is a valid, consideration. That's going to be happening on Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern, right here, coinciding with the new moon. I love doing manifesting from the new moon to the new moon. It's not the only way to do it, but it's nice because it gives you that like new moon, waxing moon, where you're creating and bringing things into your life, followed by the full moon, culmination, gratitude, and the waning moon, where you reflect and introspect and allow for flow, allow things to flow to you and stop pushing so hard. We are in that phase right now, friends. We are in the stop pushing so hard, allow things to flow to you time. And if I seem like I am, hammering that in like a hammer on a nail, it's because I need to hear it too. I am definitely, as I shared in my last Witchy Weather report, I can be a little bit of a workaholic. I have always had more goals than I have time to accomplish, more things that I'm excited about than I have time to pursue. And I think that's a beautiful gift. It beats being bored. You know what I mean? But sometimes we need that downtime. And I have learned the hard way over the years that downtime helps. Downtime means that things have an opportunity to come to you, because if you're constantly talking, if you're constantly pushing yourself out there, there's just never space for you to receive, people can't get to you. They're like, oh, she's busy. I won't bother her right now. So that's my little lecture on the waning moon. How are we all doing? Ruby says, needed to hear that. Oh, hi, Mom. Thank you for tuning in. Good morning. So good to see you. So how's everyone's week been? Hi, But Make a Tarot. Hello. So good to see you. Bex Tarot. Hello. So good to see you. I see people dropping cats in the chat already. If you'd like me to pull a card for you a little later on the broadcast, just let me know by writing the word meow or dropping a cat in the chat. The reason we have that secret code is both because cats are awesome and because when people just say, oh, Rory, can you pull a card for me? We get spammers in the chat, and that's awful. No one needs that, especially like on a Saturday morning. It's early. I'm half awake. It's not that early, but I'm a musician, so cut me some slack. Anywho, I'm going to pull us our first card for the day. Then I see we have a bunch of meows, so I will take a look through and begin pulling cards for other humans. Hey, Tamira. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for tuning into the Witchy Weather Report. Kind of a busy day in Witchy Weather Report land. I'm shuffling right now. This is the Everyday Witch Tarot, my favorite tarot deck to go to. For real, like I never don't feel like reading with this deck. It's very cute. It's got cute witchy humans on every card, and most of the time there is a cat and a broom involved. So just, it just makes me happy. All right. What is the Witchy Weather Report for the week? Well, let me tell you, it is Judgment. The card that we are focusing on this week is Judgment. And this means your own judgment. It does not mean being judged. It means exercising judgment. If we are used to seeking validation from other people before we move forward, I don't know, where do you want to eat? Whatever you want is fine. Then it may be challenging for us to exercise our own judgment. Aw, you guys are so sweet. Oh, a couple people are asking particular questions for your cards. I love it. That's great. I invite you, if you want to ask a question, please feel free for your card pull. And don't worry, I will get to all of you, but this is for everyone. Judgment. This is our call to action this week. We are exercising our own judgment. Usually, when this card comes up, it is a little bit overdue already. Usually, it means there are areas of our life where we know what has to happen, or we know perhaps what boundary we need to set, what decision we have to make, what guideline or rule of thumb we need to set for ourselves, and we have been resisting doing it for any reasons. AKA discernment, says Ondine, and that's very, very accurate. Yes, it's time to discern. And that's important because there are probably things giving us resistance around exercising our own judgment. If we need to set a boundary for someone, if someone's in our life who is, I don't know, pushing our buttons, expecting more from the relationship than they are putting in, being inappropriate, whatever it might be, or just demanding something from us that frankly we're not able to give, and we need to set that boundary. There are usually 101 reasons, and it's not all about boundary setting, by the way. That might not be how you exercise your judgment. I'm using an example. There are probably 101 reasons why you don't want to set it, right? I really actually care about this person, and they don't mean any harm, and maybe they don't know any better, and maybe I'm reading the situation wrong, right? Our own self-doubt starts to creep in. But deep down, we know we have to set that boundary. And our judgment is the beautiful freedom of saying, you know what, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do what I know needs to happen. I can't read the future. I don't know what will happen as a result. People might respond well, they might respond poorly to this new decision I am making, but I have to do it because I know it is what's right. And that's what it comes down to, is trusting your own judgment about what is right. Discernment. Using that discernment so that you are making decisions from a place of your best self. And I don't mean your most, like, sometimes I say best self and I'm afraid that people hear my most generous self. I should be able to do it all. I should be able to, work and provide and clean the house and do everything for everyone. And that's not your best self. That's your spread too thin self. That's not your best self. So make decisions as your best self. And in order to do that, you need to find some peace. You need to give yourself a break. You need to give yourself some clarity. Waning moon activities where you settle into yourself and feel not stressed for a little while. We can't make good decisions when we're stressed out. Even if we think we can, we can't. Because a part of us is too busy pushing the stress away to be engaged in making the correct decision. That means that we're probably not just pushing stress away, we're pushing other feelings away too, which are helpful. Feelings are helpful messengers. And, we just don't have it. So I invite you to find peace so that you can exercise your judgment this week. Do whatever it takes to give yourself a little break, give yourself a rest, give yourself that mental clarity. You know what does it for you. I don't. And exercise your judgment and come what may, right? Like, I'll accept that by making your choice as your best self, you are changing the world. You are creating waves and changes in your own little corner of the world. And it's going to be what it'll be. All you need to know is that it's the right thing to do or the right thing to say, what have you. Okay, I'm going to start pulling cards for people. First, I'm going to take a little sip of water. Hydration checkpoint, my friends. I'm seeing my regulars tune in. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for spending this time with me on Saturday mornings. If you were enjoying the Witchy Weather Report, the best thing to do is share it. Share it with a friend. Just share it on your timeline or whatever. Invite someone to the Witchy Weather Report who might also enjoy it, because I want to keep doing this every Saturday, and the more people I connect with this way, the happier I am, because I find it very fulfilling. We're real on the Witchy Weather Report here. We don't get it's not the how are you, like, hey, how are you? Okay, bye. It's how are you, like, I really want to know, and we really support each other here, and I really love that. Water. Okay. All right, let's see. I know I have a cat from Grayson. I know I have a cat from Ondine. I'm scrolling on the Instagrams at this time. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Okay, so I think Ondine was first. Ondine, Grayson, Haiku but Make It Tarot. Those are the first three people I'm reading for. Don't worry, if you dropped a cat in the chat, I'll get to you. Ondine says, I love the fact that the card doesn't look judgy at all. Yes, of course I like stuck it back in the middle of the deck. That's my habit, by the way, and it's a good habit if you read tarot often to stick your cards back in the middle somewhere so that you're already kind of pre-shuffling them. But it is also this. It's the same graphic as the front of the Everyday Witch. You can see this woman is literally, like, playing a flute of her judgment. Like her judgment is like beautiful music that is emanating from an instrument. She's just like, yes, I have exercised my judgment. I'm singing from the rooftop because the truth has set her free. And yeah, it doesn't look negative judgy. It's positive. Oh, wow. Judith says, I had to take an antihistamine. It knocked me out. Well, I'm glad you're back in. And I hope you're feeling better. I know it has been a weird allergy-rific time for many of us. All right, I'm pulling a card for you first, Ondine, then Grayson, then Haiku But Make It Tarot. Great account, by the way. Please follow Haiku But Make It Tarot. I really, really enjoy seeing their stuff. One more shuffle. Ondine, here you go. Knight of Cups. A card that comes up often for you. And I'm thinking today of family. I'm thinking today of your son and of motherhood. The King of Cups is related to the sign of Cancer as well. When I see this, I don't just see, or I'm sorry, this is Knight of Cups, not the King of Cups. When I see this, I don't just see the typical Knight of Cups energy. I really do see a person. I see someone reaching out and a conversation that needs to be had, probably with some emotion, but not necessarily in a negative way. I see the deep connection that can be had when people bare their souls openly with each other. And I encourage you to find opportunities to do that throughout your week, to ask yourself if there's a way to have a deeper, real conversation with someone. Here, I'm always saying we get kind of deep and real here, but it is a context of like a bunch of people around the internet who don't know each other, right? So it's beautiful how I see people come together, sending each other support when people are going through hardships, celebrating each other's successes, like in the chat here on the Witchy Weather Report. But I want to ask you, sometimes it's easier to do that on the internet because it's not people we have to deal with every day. It's not the same person we just had an argument with about whether or not the dishes got done. You know what I mean? So it's easy to be our better selves, just as it's easy to be our worst selves on the internet. It kind of swings both ways. So I encourage you to ask yourself throughout the week, where can I make my conversation deeper? Where can I maybe turn this interaction into something that is more vulnerable, but ultimately becomes healing and what's the word? Like a learning experience for both of us. Where can I commit to showing up in my vulnerability, because the Knight of Cups does that. The Knight of Cups is like, here's my heart, it's on my sleeve. I'm just hoping for the best. This is the only way I know how to do it. Where can I commit to showing up vulnerably and lovingly? Use your discernment about who that's appropriate to do it with and who would not end well, because having those conversations really, really can serve you this week. So there you have it. Okay. And happy birthday, by the way, Ondine. I've been meaning to say that. Ondine just had a birthday. We're in Cancer season. And I have a lot of Cancer friends. I have a lot of friends celebrating their birthday this month. All right. Grayson, I am pulling this card for you, and I know you had a question. Grayson said, my cat question is, how will I deal with my med change? Not a health question, an emotion question. Thank you for clarifying that. I know you, and I know that you would mean it that way. But I will let everyone know. I don't ask the cards about medical questions. And the reason is because these pretty pieces of paper did not go to medical school, nor did they attend any other type of training to learn about the human body. So I don't ask the tarot cards medical questions. Those are questions for a medical professional. I do, however, when someone has a health concern and it's really affecting them, I'll ask a question like, how can I approach this? What's the best attitude I can have around this? What might be helpful to me in my journey? those are the type of questions I absolutely love asking for people, those supportive type of questions. Anyway, so pulling a card for you, Grayson. All right, the Lovers. So I want to encourage you to look at this with a truly open heart. I know that changing medications is a doozy. I know it can mess with you. You know what I mean? And it can mess with you actually in ways that aren't necessarily indicative of how the medication will serve you in the long term, because just the changing as your body is adjusting to going off an old medication, going on a new medication, is a lot. It can affect you both physically and emotionally. And I invite you to look at this as the journey on a loving relationship, to, if you can possibly do it, to engage with yourself and your own emotions and your own experiences as a lover in a new relationship might. And by that I mean with deep tenderness and curiosity and compassion, as well as a sense of humor. I think that's sometimes something that's missed in the Lovers card, but I ask all of you in the chat to think back to honeymoon periods in any type of relationship that you've had, that period where you just are so taken with the person and you're just loving spending time with each other. And there's a lot of laughter in those times. And as you're getting to know someone and inside jokes are developing and you're finding humor in little things, and sometimes you can just look across the table at someone with a certain look and make them giggle, like there's a lot of laughter. So I urge you to approach this lovingly, with deep compassion and tenderness for yourself. When the Lovers comes up like this for something that's not an external card, it's an internal card, it's about being in a relationship with yourself. Approach it with tenderness, approach it with curiosity, approach it with a sense of humor. Use your judgment and discernment to know when which thing is called for, right? We need a variety of those things. Sometimes we really need tenderness because we're just really struggling, and the thing we need most is for someone to take our hands and be like, it's going to be okay, we're going to get through this, to be the rock for us. Sometimes we're having a meltdown, and what we actually need is a stupid joke, is for someone to make a silly joke at us so that we can laugh and realize, what, it's not as big a deal as it really is. And so at different times, different things will be required. So I urge you to bring that Lover's energy to yourself as you're navigating this. And I'm sending good vibes at you too, because I know it's a lot to navigate. Okay, Haiku But Make It Tarot, I am pulling a card for you. After that, I will be looking back in the chat. I know there are a couple other people who have requested a card, and don't worry, I got you. By the way, if you're enjoying this, I do have a virtual tip jar. It's Venmo at Rory Kelly, my name, RORIEKELLY. You are welcome to throw some love in that virtual tip jar if you get value out of the Witchy Weather Report. Never expected, always deeply appreciated, but I offer this freely. I truly love spending this time with you. But there it is, I throw out the tip jar because we all got to survive in this world. Also, if you enjoy, my reading style, you're always welcome to order a larger reading with me. I do readings through Etsy, and if you put in the code Witchy Weather Report, all one word, you get 10% off. So if you do order a reading, make sure you put in that code. I want you to get your 10% off. All right. Grayson says, thank you. I'll try to be nice to yourself. Yes, please do. I am the mom friend about that. I'm the person who's like, be nicer to my friend. I'm the person who will bully people into being nice to themselves unapologetically, because we need more self-kindness in this world. Haiku But Make It Tarot. This is for you. King of Cups. Look at all this lovey cups energy this week. King of Cups is your card, Haiku But Make It Tarot. You're going to hear something that I've said again and again, which is that it's time to make decisions with your heart and with your emotions in partnership, rather than pushing your emotions to the side or allowing your emotions to rule you. Neither. You see, the King of Cups has both a cup in one hand and a telescope in another. The King of Cups is evaluating the facts. That's what the telescope represents. The King of Cups is looking at the sky, getting the lay of the land, understanding, taking in the situation without judgment, seeing it as it is, not as how he would like it to be, right? The King of Cups is using all of his senses and his intellect to assess the situation. The King of Cups also holds a cup in his other hand, indicating the importance of his emotions. The King of Cups then examines how he feels about this information he has taken in, because emotions are important messengers. They can give us intuitive information, right, that perhaps facts and logics can't, things that are below the surface. They can also give us important information about ourselves, right? If factually you're looking at signing on to a new job or something, and on paper everything looks perfect, but emotionally inside yourself you're like, but I just really don't want to do this. It would be crushing to do something you just didn't want to do just because on paper it looked good, right? And so you have to make those decisions with both pieces of information, and you have to honor both. Honor your emotions as important messengers, because your feelings matter, and your feelings are something you have to be in a relationship with your whole life. You might as well learn how to communicate and how to feel good. Sit with your emotions, find out what it is that they're trying to tell you. And that involves spending time in them rather than immediately acting on them. It involves sitting down with a cup of tea and saying, all right, anger, sadness, brilliant joy, what is it that you're sharing with me in this moment? What are you trying to tell me? And then using that telescope and assessing what comes out, and learning from that. So that is your quest this week, is to use, and again, judgment, use your judgment and your discernment to make decisions that are from your heart. It doesn't mean let your emotions walk all over you, and it doesn't mean push your emotions to the side. You have to find that beautiful partnership. Okay, I know I have some other cards to pull for you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, everybody. I love doing this. My name is Rory, by the way. I know that it says Sassafras Tarot wherever you're watching. That is the name of my tarot business, and my podcast is called Sassafras Cast, because I love sassafras trees. That's the whole reason. I've got a bunch of them on my property. I think they're a super cool witchy tree. But my name is Rory. We're on a first name basis here. Cheers, everyone. Hydration checkpoint. Haiku but Make It Tarot is sending me some very lovely emojis. Thank you. And you're welcome. All right, let's see. Got a couple of requests. Ruby's got a cat. Ruby has a cat. My mom, Stephanie, says, need to hear about my art. You got it. And then we have Judith. Okay, so that's 3. I take 3 at a time. That's all that fits in here. But don't worry. If you're on the list, you're on the list. All right. By the way, if you ever are popping in and you won't be able to stay long, don't worry, because there's a replay. If you drop a cat in the chat and you're like, oh crap, I can't stay for my card, don't worry about it, because I always save these. You can always come back later and watch the rest of the video. Oh, and someone threw some love into my Witchy Weather Report tip jar. Thank you so much. I'm very grateful. Okay. Ruby, this card is for you, and I know you had a question or at least a comment. Oh, Ruby, you were saying about the manifesting challenge. It seems to be going well. Question mark, question mark, question mark. I can really relate. Actually, that's how you know it's going well. When it feels like a roller coaster and you're like, is it working? Then it's working. You're doing the growth thing. You're doing well. You're on the right track. Ruby says, it seems to be going well, even when I think I've been slacking. Everyone is awesome on Discord too. I agree. I love our Discord channel so much. We've been having such good conversations there. And if you're wondering what that is, I have a Patreon page, which is kind of a way to be a patron of the arts. That's where the word Patreon comes from. If you support me on Patreon, which can be as little as $1 a month, it's very affordable. You get access to my Discord community, and that is like basically a big chat community where we talk about these topics. We talk about witchy stuff. We talk about our lives. Much like the Witchy Weather Report, it is populated by really good humans. Actually, there's a lot of overlap. It's populated by really good humans, and we have some really good conversations because it's a safe space and we feel comfortable being real there. There's also some other benefits. You get access to you get to be in the virtual studio audience when I record my podcast and a couple of other things. So if you're interested in that, it's scrolling across the bottom of here. And if you're on Instagram, it's in my bio, patreon.com/Sassafras Tarot. All right. Anyway, Ruby, let me pull a card for you. Ruby also got the Lovers. Y'all saw how much I was just shuffling. Big Lovers energy. We're getting Cups and we're getting Lovers. It's clear this week that our feelings are the key. We have to pay earnest and loving attention to our feelings. That's for everyone, by the way. If you're not sure how to exercise your judgment, sit with your feelings. Just sit with them and allow them to teach you. Ruby, we have the Lovers this week. I know you are someone who is like interested in a committed relationship, and I also want to put this out to you in the same way that I recommended it to Grayson, which is consider being the Lovers to yourself, approaching yourself and every relationship in your life, not just potential romance relationships, with that very special blend of compassion, tenderness, kindness, and a sense of humor that you see, that's common in the honeymoon phase of a relationship, because that's really what the Lovers is about. The Lovers is about that early stage where you just can't get enough of each other. You're so excited. You're so into it. Approach your whole life that way. What if every day of your life you looked at the way you looked at like a first date with a really cute person? Like we had that blend of nervousness and hope and, like giggly daydreams. What if every day of your week you approached with that kind of energy? Like, what an interesting way to live your life. I think that it would, first of all, that always there's some optimism in there. I think it allows us to be our best selves. And I think that when we're in love with life, life gets a little bit in love with us. It's hard not to, I know you've seen people who approach life with that energy, right? And it's hard not to be charmed by them and want to just help them out. You know what I mean? So that's the energy I want to give to you this week. I want you to ask yourself, what would this be like if I were approaching it from that, really excited first date energy? Like, oh, I can't, I'm so excited, but I'm a little nervous, but that energy. The good That's the energy I want you to carry with you this week if you possibly can. And if you can't, sit with that, because like I said, our feelings are messengers right now. If you can't, then give yourself that compassion and that kindness. Okay. All right, I see. Let's see. Who else had a cat? Oh, right. Okay, next we have my mom. Hi, Mom. My mom is Stephanie. And by the way, Stephanie says, I need to hear about my art. Please check out her art. What's the name of your page, Mom? Is it Stephanie Davy Art? I think if you search those 3 words on Facebook, you'll find her page. My mom's a really, really cool artist, also a really cool author. And I'm not just saying it because I'm her kid. I really respect her creativity. And you would enjoy it. So there. All right. Pulling a card for you about your art. I love there's a little bit of mystery in that, needing to hear about my art. Okay. Here we go. 9 of Wands. Okay, there's a burnout thing that's happening, and this may indeed be blocking your creativity, or sometimes it enhances creativity. Burnout can go both ways. It's kind of funny. Sometimes creativity is the way out of burnout, but there's a real thing of feeling like you have been run through the mill, especially if you're talking about art. It can be that sense of, can I create, can I put one more thing out there in the world, knowing that the world I feel has rejected me so many times. I think every artist has had that experience, right? Of like, oh gosh, if I put this out here, I'm going to be vulnerable, and someone might say something unkind about it, or someone might not like it, and then I'm going to feel awful. And that does lead to this burnout feeling, this feeling of like, oh God, it's me against everyone. Oh no, I'm all alone. Maybe I shouldn't do this. And usually the Nine of Wands is an indicator that A, it's not as bad as you think. You are feeling cumulative effects from past experiences that are coloring your perception of this experience. So you feel that it is worse than it is because understandably, you're in your feelings. You haven't gotten past the past trauma, right? The past trauma is still like, hey, remember how bad everything went before? That could happen again. And you're like, oh God, could it? And really what you need to do is be gentle with yourself around this. Allow yourself to have some past trauma. Allow yourself to, even like give voice to it, and even like make jokes about it, because sometimes that gives voice but also takes away some of the sting when of being like deadly serious about it. Allow yourself to be there, and allow yourself to know like, hey, maybe I have been through the ringer a little bit on this topic, and it's not my fault that it is making me feel overwhelmed and at odds with everyone, and like I'm not good enough. And recognize that those are feelings, and they can inform your choices, and I hope they inform your choices in a way to be compassionate with yourself. I hope the way they inform your choices is by extending like a hand of caring to yourself, around your art and around creating, and allowing you to move forward knowing like, hey, I've been beaten down a little bit, so why don't I take care as I move forward? Which doesn't mean stop the journey, right? It can mean taking a break if you need a break, but it usually means let's press on, and let's be aware of this, right? Like if you twisted your ankle, you would wrap your friggin' ankle in an ace bandage before taking a hike so that you didn't hurt yourself more. So similarly, if your emotions are feeling bruised and unwieldy, then do what you need to do to support them and protect them as you move forward. Allow yourself to play on easy mode instead of hard mode. It's a concept. Yeah, Mom, can you put a link to your art in the chat? People are asking. Okay. Who is next? The next meow is Judith. Judith, I am pulling a card for you. After that, Anna, you are on deck, and I think that brings us current. Anna also says, so frustrating, jumping through so many hoops to find this page. I'm sorry about that. And it's, if you're on Facebook, I have to tell you, like, that's common. I wish I could be like, oh, just do this. Like, Facebook is, it's actually really hard to find a scheduled live video on Facebook. But if you go to my page, it's facebook.com/Sassafras Tarot and bookmark it. If you just go right to that bookmark and, like scroll down to see the live video, you will see it. You can also, however, you can watch this on Instagram. It's in my stories on Instagram, which is also Sassafras Tarot. You can search Sassafras Tarot on YouTube and go right to my YouTube channel. And you can also watch me on Twitch, twitch.tv Sassafras Tarot. I give y'all lots of options. And I think you may hear sometimes that I'm like giving comments that you might not be seeing, and it's because I'm on 4 different places. I want y'all to be able to hear each other's comments, so that even if we're not on the same platform, we're still in community with each other. Anyway, Judith, pulling a card for you. Hello. Shashwat, am I saying your name right? Please tell me if I'm wrong. I want to be corrected. Hello, I'm good. How are you? Thanks for tuning in. Tried YouTube and didn't find it. I don't have a, what's the word? I don't have a I want to say luxury link, and it's not the right word. A vanity URL yet on YouTube. I don't have enough followers, but I do have my YouTube link somewhere. Let me find it. I'm going to drop it in the chat. And actually, I'm going to ask you guys, I'm going to ask y'all a favor. Go to this YouTube link I'm about to drop and hit subscribe, because when people finally subscribe, when enough people subscribe, YouTube will let me just be like youtube.com/Sassafras Tarot. And no one has done it yet. I've pronounced your name correctly. Oh, I'm so glad. And Shashwat says, I want to know about my future. Okay, you've got 2 people ahead of you, and after that, I will absolutely pull a card for you. By the way, I just dropped in the Facebook chat a YouTube link, and if you're on Instagram, that YouTube link is in my bio. If you would click through and subscribe, A, it would mean a lot to me, and B, it's a different way to watch the Witchy Weather Report if Facebook has given you grief. Okay, back to the cards. Judith pulling a card for you, then Anna, then Shashwat. Okay. Mom says, no official page. Last 9 of Wands made me close it, but I think it is still there, just not interactive. I will try to revive it, but have some art on my Facebook page. So if you follow Stephanie Davy on the Facebooks, she does. She has some art in her like photo galleries. And I think on maybe on your like, you know, big timeline picture, I forget what that's called, like header image. I'm not sure. Thank you so much. Okay. Judith, here's your card for the week. Oh, also, someone asked what's the general card for the week, so I'll give you all a refresher. I pull a card for everyone at the beginning of this broadcast, and that's like the general weather. That's the weather report. That's what's going on in the world this week, and that is judgment. We are focusing this week on exercising our own judgment, on the truth setting us free, on turning to our own wisdom and making decisions based on what we know to be true and what we know to be right. This is about trusting our hearts and trusting our guts. And if they give us conflicting information, thinking about it. So that's our card for the week. We are encouraged to exercise our own judgment and make decisions around what we know to be right and not think too hard about, well, what if, right? The what ifs aren't going to help. What's going to help is doing what you know needs to be done, saying what you know needs to be said, and trusting that the truth will set you free because it will. Okay, Judith, King of Pentacles. You've gotten this card a couple times lately, right? Is this a human in your life? Is this maybe your collaborator at the moment? I'm not sure. But a big King of Pentacles energy. So I'm gonna read it for you both ways. This is someone who will help you tap into your own wisdom around creating stability. Pentacles at their heart are about stability. People associate pentacles with money, and that is, in our capitalist society, absolutely a source of stability, right? If you have enough money, you can give yourself a stable life. But it's not the only source of stability. Other sources of stability include our living situation, right? Our, having a roof over our head, having meals, having our health taken care of, and our immediate relationships with the people that we see and interact with all the time. All of those things contribute to our stability. The King of Pentacles is a very, very wise steward of resources, and you are encouraged to harness this energy and use it. Allow the King of Pentacles to flow into your life and help you to learn from his, kind of prowess in this area and become a wise steward of your own resources. This means beginning to take a look at things like, health, what your body needs, what your mind needs, the stability of your home life, the stability of your work life. And when I say stability, I don't just mean is it reliable and the same every day? I mean, does it nourish you or does it deplete you? Because something that's reliable and the same every day, but that depletes you, well, that's a diminishing return. Things are going to keep going down, right? So stability looks like things that allow you to continually replenish yourself so that you can remain your best self. And last but not least, absolutely financial resources. So learn from the King of Pentacles right now in your own stewardship of your own resources. Learn perhaps by example, learn by asking, learn by doing. This is just a really good energy for you right now, and use that in concert with judgment, which is, your own judgment, your own discernment, which is our card for the week. All right. Shuffling. And Anna, I'm pulling a card for you. Anna, you had a question. Was that a real question, or was that an inside joke question? You said, where in the world is Bill Priest, Judith Zweiman? Should I be asking this? So I'll be straight up. I don't know who Bill Priest is. Do you really want to know where in the world he is? I'll ask the cards in as polite a way I can, although I will tell you guys, sometimes I have people ask about other people, and I will ask in a casual way, in a, hey, what's up with that kind of way. I will not spy on people with tarot cards. The jury's out on whether a tarot card can actually see into somebody's head. It's a piece of paper, and their head is probably not present. But I won't answer questions like, is so and so thinking this? That's like that's creepy. But it's also like I will answer questions about like, my relationship with this person. I'm trying to do the right thing, whatever. Okay. Yes, it's a real question. Yes, she does. Okay, Bill Priest. It looks like, yes, you really want an answer about where in the world is Bill Priest. Okay, well, here we go. Let's see. Where in the world is an interesting question. This is someone from 40 years ago, familiar to me and Judas Wyman. Okay. Here's your card. 8 of Pentacles. I take this to mean that Bill Priest is working on his own stuff right now. 8 of Pentacles is a card about, just working hard, putting in the time. It is absolutely a journey on the, kind of Pentacles journey. And it's the part of the journey where you are just churning out work. Whether that looks like being a student and hitting the books reliably, or whether that looks like being, a hardworking freelancer and just going from gig to gig and just, doing the thing. Or whether it looks like, I'm launching a business and I'm putting together my website and my mailing list and everything, that behind the scenes work that nobody sees. 8 of Pentacles is definitely about behind the scenes work. It is not work that is done for recognition. It is work done for A, the pleasure of a job well done, and B, to develop yourself in one way or another, whether it's developing your skill or whether it's developing perhaps your, ability to be taken seriously by the world at large, developing your opportunities for yourself. It seems like, if you wonder if Bill Priest has dropped off the face of the planet, I'm going to say it might be because he is in that development space where he is just heads down working on the thing that is important to him at this moment in time, which is not a bad place for a person to be. All right. Grayson says, gotta go. Thanks for tuning in, Grayson. I always love having you here. I love your energy. All right. Our last person to read about is Shashvat. Let me pull a card for you, in particular asking, I want to know about my future, and what was the other question? How will be my future soulmate? Oh. Anna says, no, but sad face. Having no context. Sometimes I answer a question with no context and I just do my best. So if I gave you an answer that just feels like really not good, feel free to tell me. And feel free to either give me context or, ask me a clarifying question. I don't mind. I'll pull a card for Shashvat while you feel free to add context or feel free to just leave it as it is, whatever works for you. When I pull a card and someone has a sad face after, that's not the result I want. So I'm always happy to do like a clarifying card or a follow-up, like what can I do to feel better about this type of card. Because I use the tarot as a modality to bring empowerment into people's lives. Okay, Shashvat asking about his future soulmate. Here's your card, the Hanged Man. I think the answer is, this is I'm sorry for this answer because it's probably not what you want to hear. This is very much a wait and see situation. I get the impression that you have things happening in your life right now that maybe mean you can't go after this in the way you'd like to. Maybe your mind and your emotions are like, yes, I want to find that special person. It's very important to me to find the person with whom I will spend my life. And the reality of the situation might be that other things are taking up your time, tying up your hands, and keeping you from being able to pursue that with all that you are. However, when we get this card, it's not really a negative card. It doesn't mean you're not going to, be able to do this. It doesn't mean you're always going to be kept away, from true love or from, marriage or whatever your goals are. It means that right now is not the time. It means wait and see. Sometimes this is a divine timing card. Sometimes it really just means, there's more information coming and you don't have it yet. So you have to just sit and wait because the circumstances will change. That's my advice to you at this time. And I know it's probably not your favorite advice to hear, but usually when the Hanged Man comes up, people know. People are like, yes, there are circumstances that are preventing me from focusing on this the way that I would like to. Things tying my hands right now. And that's just how it is. I can't change everything in my life at this moment. Know that this too shall pass. It's not permanent. And know that sometimes it's for the best. Behind the scenes is divine timing. Anna says, the answer isn't the problem. He's sorely missed, an amazing songwriter. Oh, I can really relate. I think anyone who's been in a music scene for long enough has at least one person, probably several people, right, that you just love. You love their art. You love them as human beings. And then for whatever reason, they leave the scene. Maybe they start focusing on a different aspect of themselves or their family or a different career or something. And you miss, and it's like just so sad. And you're just like, but this person's art, other people need to hear it. I need to hear it more. I need to hear what their new art is, and it's just heartbreaking. I can think of a couple of songwriters, and I'll name them. Why not? Marianne Leone and John Flores Asante, songwriters that I knew in my 20s who just blew me away consistently. I was so excited to hear anything they put out because I knew it was going to be, both enjoyable and also going to excite me as an artist, as a fellow musician. And neither of them's really making music anymore. And it's a shame. It's a shame when the light goes out behind the art. Mom, if you're still here, it's a shame when the light goes out behind the art. Don't forget, people want those creations. They are helping. They are bringing something into the world. All right, my friends. Anna says he was a big influence on my songwriting. I don't think I've heard. Hey, I have a couple musicians here. I have a couple of artists and creators. If you create something, let's do a little renaissance right now in the Witchy Weather Report. As I close this up, drop a link to what you create if you have it in the chat. Whether it's like a link to a video or a link to a song. If you have something, I want to hear it because I want to get to know y'all better. I love that I have, I tend to always be a magnet for creative people and I love it. So I want to know. And I bet other people in the chat would also love to know. So can we all renaissance with each other a little bit? If anyone has a link to share of what they do, can you drop it in the chat? Give us some love. That's my humble request. And it's partly selfish. It's partly because I love the people who come to the Witchy Weather Report and I want to love their art too. I want to know. Anna says, I got to hunt for the links. I understand. I know how that is. All right, friends. I think that wraps up our Witchy Weather Report for the day. Thank you for hanging out with me. Remember, I do this every week. Same bat time, same bat channel. So you can tune in exactly where you tuned in last week. If you're on Facebook, you can come back to this Facebook page. It's Sassafras Tarot, and I recommend that you do two things on whatever platform you're at. Hit subscribe or follow, whatever the button is, so that you like my page. Hit that button. And also, if there's a bell, hit that bell. That's the notification bell that will send you a notification when I go live next time. The notifications, I notice, don't go out exactly when I go live. People will get them sometimes 5-10 minutes later, but hey, better late than never, right? If you're scrolling through and you get that notification, it reminds you, then great. I'd rather see you at 11:10 than not at all, So ring that notification bell. Hit subscribe, hit like, hit follow, hit it, press all the buttons. Please. And if you've been enjoying this, I hope I'll see you again next week. Bring a friend. Tell folks. Ooh, I love it. Anna just shared a link. That's where I'm about to go. soundclick.com/search. I'm not going to read that link out loud because it's too many words. I'll just put it up there so people can see it. So go check out Anna's music. Tiger Williams, is the name I'm guessing that you make art under, which is awesome. And I'll talk to y'all next week. Bye, friends.